So they're at that bullshit again, y'all. Yep. Fox News. They now think that after speaking to one black dude, that they have the concerns of the average black man all narrowed down to a couple of quotes. Now, I'm not surprised. They are always pulling these type of stunts. But I guess they're trying to convince the segment of the Republican base that is race conscious. Yeah. Whatever. They're trying to convince them that their platform must not be racist. Because, look, that black dude over there, Charlamagne the God, he's soured on Joe Biden. Oh, and I guess they want to convince everybody that all of a sudden that black men should stay home or are going to stay home versus going back to the polls and voting their conscience. I don't know. As a black man, I won't be voting for Trump, man. Charlamagne don't speak for me.
His re-election prospects are a different matter. Popular radio host Charlamagne the God says he has no plans to throw his support behind the big guy's re-election. He just said, quote, in 2024, it's a race between the cowards, the crooks, and the couch, which is referring to Biden, Trump, and the option to stay home. The God also feels particularly burned by Kamala and added this, quote, I learned my lesson from doing that. Once they got in the White House, she kind of disappeared.
Now, I don't know this dude, but if I did, I would ask Charlamagne the God, what vice president do you think did an amazing job? What was their trademark achievement? Better yet, what did the duties of the vice president do? And I'll ask one last one. What action can the vice president unilaterally take that will make you think that all of a sudden she's God's gift to the presidential or vice presidential office? No worries. Jessica Charlove got our back.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Jessica. Is this the canary in a coal mine moment? Is this a warning that he's trying to give to the president that you can no longer take the black vote for granted?
It is, though it's quite regular that he does this, which I think is a service to Democrats to just say, and this especially pertains to the black male vote, not so much black women, but black men have been expressing this certainly through the Trump era and when Biden was running in 2020, that it just wasn't that exciting to them. And they have unleashed campaigns. They did the whole barbershop tour, which ended up being successful, and President Biden was obviously elected. But it is a concern. And there was a poll out today that showed a staggering loss amongst black voters down into the low 60s. Now, I don't think that anyone who's being an honest broker about that thinks that Biden is going to end up losing 20% of the black vote off of what he got, but it's certainly a concern. The disappointment with Kamala is something that I understand, but I do wonder if there are any vice presidents out there where people were like particularly jazzed about or thought like, I love this guy. I mean, Joe Biden, when you think back to his 8 years as vice president, the real kind of shining star example of what he got done was getting gay marriage passed. That was his portfolio, that he was going to be part of the lobbying effort. It was a huge moment for the country and for the party. But Kamala Harris has been put in charge, yes, I know the border, but also in terms of the messaging about the Dobbs decision and getting out the youth vote. And that's been hugely successful. We've won all of these ballot referendums. There was huge turnout in the 2022 midterms, and the expectation is that that will keep up. So I don't know if knocking her in that way is necessarily
the Dobbs decision was a gift. Kamala, you didn't need Kamala to do that. Well, let's be honest. Come on, Jessica. Stop lying.
That 2024 humor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesse, this was interesting. He also said he's not looking for his politics to be pure, right? And I think what he's getting at is that the purity goals of the Democrats keeps the goalposts moving, so you never know what's right or what's wrong anymore. What say you, man with the golden hair?
Thank you. We don't, on the Republican side, always need purity either. So.
That is funny.
Now this is funny to me because, Mr. Waters, we don't need you to tell us that the Republican parties don't care or need or value purity anymore. Because ever since y'all savior, Donald Trump, has come onto the scene, that has been clear that that is not a necessity.
Moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news there.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case they start kissing her. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the pussy.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the.
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately. She's not my type, and that's 100% true. She's not my.
I mean, this dude's convinced the entire Republican Party that even a man who had kids out of wedlock was grabbing on people about you know what, he said all this mess, doing all of these things, paying for hookers, lying, cheating, stealing, killing, and destroying, to be quite frank. More vulgar than Frank on Shameless. Y'all are just convinced that this dude is just a saint. And this conversation about pandering is just ridiculous because, dude, in this comment where you're mentioning the Democratic Party potentially coming down the pipeline to pander, you've mentioned grabbing hot sauce out of a purse, you've mentioned kicks and being cool and Tupac and sneakers and jumpsuits and all sorts of kind of stuff. Yeah, so you not only made a comment about them pandering, which is a thing and it's a worthy conversation, but you literally just used a rundown of stereotypes to do it. Now all of a sudden, somehow, this is supposed to be elevated conversation. Thank God they got Jessica on here, because otherwise this would be some bullshit. Now, everybody knows that the black vote, the female vote, the working class white vote, the suburban mom vote, the Hispanic vote, the Asian vote, the LGBTQIA plus vote, all these votes are integral in the Democrats having sweeping victories in every election. It's not one, it's all. It's the collection. It's all of our differences that make the Democratic Party so strong. Now, I would also argue that all of these differences mean that the Democratic Party has to work twice as hard to communicate all of the nuances that exist within our own communities of different struggles and blockades that we have to the American dream. And I do believe that they are full-heartedly trying their best to do that. It's hard when you're talking about literally so much variation. It would be nice to be, the Republican Party where you got what? The white vote to worry about, the Cuban vote to worry about, a little bit of the black vote, a little bit of the Hispanic vote that's non-Cuban, a little bit of the Asian vote, and then that's about it, because for the most part, everything else is a minor thing. And I get it, there's some LGBTQ plus IA folks that are Republican, but the Republicans ain't really doing nothing for them. I mean, low-key, they're trying to make them, not have the ability to get married. And quiet as it's kept, all of these family values folks, I mean, they trying to tell y'all that all those busted seeds that y'all have floating around in the world should not have just been floating around in the world, because they trying to take your condoms away and your contraceptives away. And let's not forget about the folks, especially in places like Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Alabama. Said Alabama like twice because, that's where y'all really incesting at. And there's a lot of babies that have not been born because of daddy sleeping with nieces and daughters and all this other mess. So no shade, not to be gross, but where y'all at then?